Hello and welcome to Source of Wonder, Sparking Divine Reconnection. Or if we ever needed divine reconnection, I can't think of a better time than right now because we are living a time of extremes. Not necessarily bad things or even good things for that matter, but big things. Big changes in the world, big changes in their lives and our lives. And that's what I want to talk to you about right now. My name is Gregg Braden. I am an author. Some of you may know some of my books, The Divine Matrix, The God Code, Human by Design, among others. I'm also a scientist. I'm a degreed earth scientist, a degreed geologist with a background in life sciences, marine biology, marine geology, molecular biology, as well as history and archaeology. And I say this to you because all of those sciences give me the tools to look into the best science of the modern world, the research, the discoveries that are being made to make sense of what's happening in our world right now. We are living a time of extremes. It's not your imagination or mine. Your world is changing, my world is changing, and it's changing for a reason. We're living a rare convergence of cycles, natural rhythms that we have not seen come together in this way in over 5,000 years of recorded human history. What are those cycles? The three primary cycles are the climate cycles, the economic cycles, and the cycles of human conflict. Climate you know about. The economic cycles are not about money, but they're about the way that people work together to share the vital resources that we use every day in our lives: water, food, energy, medicine, communication, security. Conflict. Human conflict is directly correlated to Earth's location in space and our relationship to our sun and the ebb and the flow of the magnetic fields of our sun and our planet when it comes to social coherence. There are direct correlations now between low magnetic fields. When those magnetic fields are low, we're more aggressive, less willing to cooperate to solve our problems. And when they're high, it is just the opposite. We are living a low point in the magnetic fields. It's no surprise because you look at the conflict that's happening in the world right now, whether it's happening in our home, in our living room, with our families, with our partners, if it's happening in the office place, in the workplace, in the classroom, if it's happening between nations, if it's happening on a planet. We are at this point. Now, I'll be very clear. We are not slaves to the cycles. We always have choice. We always have free will. And when we recognize the opportunity that the cycles are providing, what we also see is that in addition to the vulnerability of conflict, we are also experiencing the greatest opportunity for peace. Let me share with you why this is. If you think of the magnetic fields of our planet as the glue that holds in place our deepest beliefs, when that glue is strong, we are really entrenched in those beliefs and we will fight for those beliefs until something comes along that weakens that glue. And that's where we are right now. The low magnetic fields are like the glue falling away and everything is up for grabs. Everything that we thought was true, the trust that we had in governments and what we believe about media, what we believe about our leaders, what we believe about ourselves and our friends, what the science is telling us about our biology and our immune system. All of these things are up right now for us. And we're being asked for the first time in a very long time to go deep within to find out what's real and what's true. And this is the exciting part of where we are right now, because we are in various stages of a lockdown from COVID-19, various stages of social distancing, and we all have a sense that when this is complete, there is another world that is waiting for us, a new world that's waiting for us. And here's the thing, that world does not quite exist yet because we're building it right now. We're building that new world through the thoughts and the feelings and the emotions and the beliefs and what we're willing to believe and accept about ourselves and our relationship to the world. We're building that world right now. So the question is, what is the foundation of the world that we're building? From my perspective, I believe it is impossible to know precisely what that world is going to look like. We cannot know with certainty what the new world will look like because there are things that haven't happened yet that we will have to adapt to and that we'll have to embrace as we go into that new world. However, if we have as a foundation of that world our most cherished values and beliefs, if we choose our most cherished values and beliefs and we position them as the foundation for every law that we pass, every social policy that we embrace, all of the new ways of thinking and the principles of living, if we can embrace a series of values as our foundation, and if we adhere to those values, we cannot go wrong. It's when we put our most cherished values on the back burner, when we compromise our most cherished values and exchange them for technology or money or power or greed. This is what has gotten us in trouble in the past. This is what we've learned from the world that we are emerging from right now. So, what are those values? We all have to choose our own values. But for me, there are very high level values. I would call them umbrella values. Freedom has to be one of those values. Freedom, the freedom to know what it means to be human. Imagination has to be one of those values. We have a young generation now that is losing the ability to imagine because they're giving their power away to technology, to games, to computers, to mobile phones that are numbing their sensitivities. We must embrace the deep truth and the power of our imagination. Community. Community is key, and especially in times like this. In our time of extremes, localized living is the key to thriving. We don't want large, centralized chains of goods and services that can be easily broken in times of extremes. Localized living, localized food, localized energy, localized economies, localized banking, localized exchange of the things that are valuable to us that we need every day in our lives. These are the kinds of values that we must put as our foundation. The value of life itself, human life and all life. Life, freedom, community, imagination. If we can choose those values and others that are important to us and bring them front and center and force every choice, every policy, every law to revolve around these values and to honor these values, we can't go wrong. It's when we discount these most cherished values at the expense of other things that we've talked about. This is where we compromise our values. This is where we compromise our very humanness. Technology now is out there in a way that we've never seen before, and you and I are being told that we need the technology of the world around us to feel safe for the world within us. We're being told it's a scary world out there and that we need chemicals in our bodies, or we need chips in our brain, or we need wires under our skin in order to feel safe and to negotiate the threats and the challenges that we see in the external world. Here's what the same science is telling us, is that all of the external technology that we're being asked to embrace mimics what we already do within our bodies. We are the technology. We are a technologically advanced, highly sophisticated biological system. We have the ability that no other form of life has to self-regulate our own biology, to awaken on demand a powerful immune system when we need it, to awaken on demand the longevity enzymes so that we move forward in chronological time, but we move backward in biological time. We have the ability, we're the only form of life that can awaken our resilience on demand so that we can be at our best to meet and transcend what life brings to our doorstep. No other form of life can do these things, self-regulation of biology. All of these things, as well as the values, all have in common one experience of our humanness, and that is the power of the human heart. 1991, scientists discovered 40,000 specialized cells in the human heart called sensory neurites. They're like neurons in the brain, but they're not in the brain, they're in the heart. Our sensory neurites of the heart, they feel independently of our brain. They think, they sense, they remember, they experience independently of our brain. But you and I know that intuitively. And that's why we've always gone to our heart in times of need. When we're suffering, the first thing we do is we touch our heart for relief. If you ask someone, where are you in the world? Even young children, they will say, I'm here, I'm here. Because intuitively, we have an ancient memory that the heart is the core of our existence. Now, the science is giving us the reason to embrace that belief. It's also giving us the technology that tells us how to make use of our heart. When we touch our heart center, calling our awareness into our heart so that we can communicate through our heart's intelligence rather than through the polarity of the left and the right brain, this opens the door to new levels of wisdom, new levels of opportunity. You know, we have at our fingertips right now something that our ancestors never had. We have the ability to marry the best science of the modern world with the wisdom of 5,000 years of human experience. And when we do that, we have something that's more than the wisdom of the past, that's more than the knowledge of the science, and it's what gives us our evolutionary edge to succeed and thrive where others may have failed in the past. It all begins in the human heart. I'd like to share with you, through the Indigenous perspective near my home, here in the high deserts of northern New Mexico, an experience that helps us to access that wisdom in our hearts. Because no matter what happens in the world around us, no matter how crazy that world gets, if we know who we are in here, then in that rock solid knowledge, that spiritual anchor of our humanness, we have the ability to thrive and let the world go through its changes, because we know that we're okay in the presence of those changes. So I'd like to share with you an Indigenous experience, and I hope you enjoy what we're about to do as much as I enjoyed creating it for you. So the image that you're seeing on your screen right now is an actual photograph of the nighttime sky, the Milky Way galaxy, directly over an ancient archaeological site not far from where I am speaking to you right now, in the Four Corners area of the high desert of northern New Mexico. The archaeological site is the site of Chaco Canyon, and it was in this place over 1,000 years ago that the people would gather together under the night sky with no other lights around them to allow themselves to be in the presence of this beauty and allow the beauty to carry them into the deep knowing of their relationship to the cosmos and to the earth, to the cycles of climate and to the extremes that they experienced in their time, not unlike what we're doing today. And it was in this place that the ancient ones would often use instruments of the earth, such as this red cedar Native American flute. This is a 5-hole cedar flute. You can see the 5 holes right there. This is a 5-hole cedar flute that was actually made in a village very close to where this photograph was taken. So I'm going to invite you to join me as together we reenact virtually, in the presence of one another, virtually under this night sky, a little bit of the experience of those who have come before us. I'm going to invite you to allow the ancient and the primal sounds of human breath through an instrument of the earth to lead you into the portal, into the doorway that allows the deep communion with these experiences into your heart. In the traditions of the ancient ones, those who have come before us, there's always been a belief that each time the breath of a human passes through an instrument of the earth, in that moment we reenact the most sacred act. It's the union between spirit and matter, between heaven and earth, between breath and wood, between all that has ever been and that which is yet to be, between the past and the future. All exist right now in this moment. And it is through our hearts that we open the timeless doorway that connects us to the wisdom of the past and the wisdom of the future, so that we have it for ourselves in this moment. I invite you to allow these ancient sounds to lead you past your thinking mind into your feeling heart for precisely this reason. All of our ancestors. All of our ancestors. All of our ancestors are with us now. The voices of our ancestors are with us now. The wisdom of our ancestors is with us now. The healing of our ancestors is with us now. The peace of our ancestors is with us now. All of the wisdom of those who have come before us, it's with us now. It's in this world. It's in this place. It's in our bodies. It's in our hearts. All of our ancestors are with us now. Spirit of compassion, show us the way. Show us the way. Show us the way. If I came to this world from another world and I had 1 minute to share with the people of the earth what I felt would lead them through the most difficult times in their lives, in one sentence I would say it is through the power of your heart. And the power of your heart So open the door to the possibilities of your mind and the cosmos beyond. That's what I would say to them, and this is what I'm saying to you right now. I want to thank you for all that you're doing to help this to be the best possible world, and I look very much forward to the world that we create together. I look forward to our next.